Hello, everybody. Today is Sunday, June the 1st, 2025, and this is FlossTube number 141. I am not camera ready, and so we're going to film overhead today. I didn't feel like getting camera ready, but I also did not want to wait. Usually I do this video after our monthly stitching meeting, which doesn't happen until the 7th this month, and so I didn't want to wait that long because that'd be a whole nother week into the month. So I'm going to do my May recap, and we're going to film overhead, and I'll talk a little bit about plans for the month of June. So anyway, if you are new here, my name is Shelly, and this is my channel, The Serenity Stitcher, where I share about things that I'm making, mostly cross stitch. I do have occasionally some diamond painting, occasionally some quilting, some wool applique, and I'm about to get into some crochet, which I've done in the past, but so anyway, I'm glad you're here today, and I hope you like what you see. If you do, just give me a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, I would appreciate if you would subscribe and join me here on my channel. I love talking about cross stitch and all things needlework. So May 2025 plans right here. I didn't do a whole lot of what I had planned because I at the last minute decided to do two pieces for friends that were having birthdays in the month of May. So I had two new starts and finishes, completely finished FFO. And what I'll do, I know I have pictures. I think I may have a video of one of them. So I'll insert those here. So I made this little scissor keep for my friend Rachel, who loves elephants, and a friend had gifted me the kit for this piece, and so I was going to gift it to Rachel, and I realized once I looked at the pattern that it wasn't something she would really enjoy stitching. She doesn't like stitching on linen, and it was on, I think, 32 count linen, and it has a bunch of over one stitching on it, and so I just knew that was not something she would enjoy, so I decided to stitch it up for her. So I got that done. It took me 6 days, and it was a little over 1,900 stitches. It had some specialty stitches in it, and like I said, a lot of over one. Then the other unplanned piece was flowers for friends. I made this for my friend Nina, who also had a birthday. This was another kit that someone had gifted me, and I was able to get it done in a day, a little over 1,000 stitches, and on Memorial Day I did FFO that, and I do have a tutorial here on my channel where I show how I put on the beaded rickrack. So those two projects kind of preempted a lot of the other things that I had planned, but I did stitch, on some of the stuff that I had planned. But like this piece, that's the same. This piece, and this piece, I did not stitch on them this month like I planned. Last month like I planned. So So underneath this little blanket I have the pieces that I stitched on in May. So this is Shannon Christine's Christmas Club. This is from 2022, I believe, and it's the 12 Days of Christmas. Her face looks a little weird right now, but one of the colors that's called for, I didn't have it on my little card where I have the rest of my flosses. I don't know why I didn't pull it, but somehow I missed it. But anyway, this one seems to be going a lot faster than number 7 went. Number 7, for some reason, seemed like it took forever. So I'm making good progress on her. This is a 28 count Cashel in black, and I'm using her called for DMCs, 2 strands. I am making changes on her pattern. This around the numbers and then all this filigree, this is all supposed to be beads, and I did not do that. I'm only doing beads on the flowers, and then, you know, some of the charts will have beads on different little small parts. But it was just too much beads, too much beading. I didn't like the way it looked, and I didn't really want to have to bead that much because it's 12 patterns and they all have the same little, you know, design at the bottom. I think she calls for chronic. I'm actually using Petite Treasure Braid from Rainbow Gallery, and I love stitching with it. It's not as problematic as other, you know, metallic specialty type threads. So I will continue to stitch on this not every Monday, but on Mondays I do Christmas pieces, and so I alternate between this piece and then this piece. And this is, I'm trying to think of her name again, Veronique Ingenier, I think it may be. She's a French designer, and this is from a French company. It called to stitch this on, it came in a kit with the fabric. I didn't use the fabric that it called for. I thought it would have taken away from the pattern, so I'm stitching it on a 40 count from Atomic Ranch. And I got more done over here in the leaves and the tree. I got started on another little bird. I started on the little birdhouse. It's not real fast stitching because it's sort of, I don't know, it's sort of, you know, just little small spots where one color is, and then it's a color change. I didn't do the back stitching on this part yet, but I love working on this, and I love the way this looks a lot. I love her patterns in general. So, and then I did a new start. Denise over at Black Ribbon Stitch Studio, she had shown this in her, not her most recent video, but the one before, and I fell in love with it. I already had the pattern, and so I went ahead and started it. This is from Calico Confectionery. This is Amelia's Valentine, and I'm stitching it on a 28 count wood shelt linen. I don't know the color of it. I think it may be China Pearl. I had some China Pearl that I was stitching a series from Waxing Moon on, and one of the packs that I bought, it didn't match the color of the other ones, and so I think this might be one of those that the color was slightly off, and so I didn't use it for that. But I know it's a 28 count wood shelt. I'm using anchor flosses, pretty much like what the pattern called for. I tried to match as close as I could, but I do really love stitching with anchors. I just think they're so pretty and so shiny. But that's what I got done. I stitched on it for 3 days and got 716 stitches into it. And I'm using 2 strands of the anchor over 2 threads on the 28 count. And I stitched some on my Prim Stitch series from Lori Holt. Let's see, I stitched on this 3 days and got 617 stitches. And I pretty much, I think I did some on the church, some of the white on the church, and I did more on her dress, and then started stitching the little stars in this block. So I'm doing all 12 of these on one piece of fabric, and it's a piece of 32 count Joblin, and I think it's lamb's wool is the color. I'm using one strand because I wanted it to be prim looking. And I'm using DMC flosses, mostly her called for. I think the pattern's written for Orifloss, but she has a DMC conversion. I'm using most of her colors. I did change one of the reds, I believe. It's been several years since I started this. I want to say it was probably in 2019. So I kind of wish that I had done them individually, but yeah, it's just gonna take a while. So this was also a new start for the month of May. Johnny, along with Candy, the 614 Stitcher, and her mental health care style stitch along. And I kind of, with doing those two gifts for friends, this kind of got neglected. So I only stitched on this for 2 days for a total of 960 stitches. And I'm pretty sure I'm using Anchor on this also. I think so. My, I don't know, I do good with being organized, and then I don't do good for a while. I don't know. Right now, a lot of my projects are just sort of not organized really well. My preferred thing is to have these little comic book boards that I punch holes in, and put the flosses that I need for a project. These are full skeins on most of them, but if I don't, it just depends. If I'm working on something that I think is going to take a lot, I'll do a full skein, but most of the time I would just pull, several strands, several 6-strand pieces, and just tie them on the card, and then just pull more when I need it. So I either do that, or I have floss tags where I take just part of the skeins and put them in the project. My problem is that I don't have stuff labeled right, and I'm just sort of like pulling them as I stitch, which is not the best thing to do. But anyway, this is what I got done on. This is the Mindfulness Mandala that was in Just Cross Stitch magazine a few years ago. It is a 9-part series, and I really wanted to stitch on this more for Mental Health Awareness Month of May. But like I said, I got, sidetracked with making stuff for friends. So, and that, that's a good mental health thing too, to do something for someone else. So I'm not planning on just stitching on this in May. I want to stitch on it throughout the year. And so you'll see this, you'll see this periodically. This is a 32 count linen. Is it 32? I think it might be 36. I think it's 36 because I'm only using one strand. Let's see. I don't know if I said 2 days, 960 stitches. So this is also a new start for the month of May. This is a series that I have finished one of them already. This is from Hands On Design. It's their triple play pillows for autumn. And so this was my autumn piece that I stitched on for the month of May. I got a good bit done on it. let's see, 3 days and 701 stitches. So this is a 40 count cafe au lait Zweigart linen, and I'm using her called for DMC's 1 strand of floss. So I was glad that I got the second one started in that. I have all 4 of these. Like each season has 3 pillows, and I have all 4 seasons, and I actually have the kits with the fabric to finish them. And so I really would like to, work on these consistently and get them finished. And I thought about, finish the, like FFOing them as I go, but I don't really want to do that. I'd rather do them assembly, I might do all the autumn ones and then all the winter ones, but I don't want to just do one and then several months later, probably more like 6 months later or so, or a year, do another one in that same season. So just because I feel like it's, more efficient to not do it that way. So this was one of my whip go calls for May. This is summer, Seaside Summer. This is a magazine piece. I only stitched on it 1 day and got 643 stitches. This is a 28 count linen, and I'm trying to remember, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's 28 count. I'm using 2 strands of DMC, and so it's supposed to turn into a bookmark. I don't know if I'll do a bookmark. I haven't decided how I'm going to FFO it, probably into a little pillow, but anyway, that's what I got done on it. So that's all that I stitched on this month. So my plan for June, I have quite a few whip go pieces that I have not finished in the month they were called, which is what my goal is. I know if you're not familiar with WhipGo, it's like a bingo board. It's a group that's on Facebook, creation of Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on YouTube. And every month she calls 2 numbers on the bingo board, and you make your board however you want it. Mine this year was things that I'm almost finished, that I felt like I could get finished in a month's worth time. Of course, some of these evidently I underestimated how long it would take to finish it. And then this month, everything got sidelined with the gifts that I stitched. So for the month of June, I am planning to work on a lot of whip go. So the 2 ones that were called for this month is Liberty Jar from Hands On Design, and then Winter Rose Manor from With Thy Needle and Thread. So those are the ones that were called for this month. So I do have them quite a few days allotted so that I can try to get these finished this month. And then I want to go back and finish my egg hunt, which was called, I believe, in April. Or was it in May? It was in May. So I want to go back and finish that. I don't have very much left to do on that, and so it won't take but a day, maybe a little over a day. I have a scissors keeper that was called way back at the beginning of the year. I have the top part of it finished, but I need to stitch the scissors that's on the bottom part of that piece. I'm going to stitch my Christmas pieces, and then I want to, get this one finished, which was supposed to be finished in May. So my plan is to, spend a good bulk of my time on these. I am going to, and I didn't write these down, I don't know why, but I am going to stitch for full coverage. I want to stitch some of my intricate intimate romance, and that's the only thing that I have that I don't have written down here. And I just realized that I forgot to show you memories of the past, so I'm going to pause and grab that. And let's see. So this is my plan for, the days in June. There was another one that I didn't stitch on in May that I had planned on, but it wasn't, no, it's not a whipco piece, so, but I did want to make some progress on it, swoop and soar, but I didn't get to that, but I was thinking it was whipco. It's not. So you can see that most of everything that I have on here is whipco pieces, other than my Christmas pieces and then my full coverage piece. So, quite a few days allotted for Winter Rose Manor, because I have quite a ways to go on that piece, but I will be so excited to get it finished. 4 days for Liberty Jar, and then 2 more days on Seaside Summer. No, 3 more days. And then Scissors Keepers 4 days. And so hopefully that will get me all caught up on my whipco board and getting the things finished. I figured the mid-year was a good time to sort of, go back and try to catch those up. Let me grab that sampler 1 second. Okay, so I actually missed 2 things that I stitched on. So I stitched 1 day on procrastinating and got 306 stitches in it. I did more on these letters right here, and I think I finished this word. So I didn't do a whole lot on it, but I did get some stitches in that. And then the last 2 days I worked on Hands Across the Seas, Memories of the Past, and got more done. I did, let's see, 2 days, 644 stitches, so not a whole lot of stitches on it. But I love stitching on this, so I'm trying to keep it where I'm, staying within the border that I've got done. So, like, I don't want to just keep stitching all of this and then have just border left. And I'm not a stitch all the border without stitching the middle part kind of person. That would make me so nervous. So, I want to try to just get this section right here done, and then I'll start moving down and over and out. But I got more of the words in here. I got some more on this. I got a few more letters, got more done on the border, and then started putting in some of these little flowers down here. So I love stitching on this so much. This is a 37 count, I do believe, from, is it Legacy? I think it might be Legacy. And I'm stitching, that stitch came out. Or did I just not clip a thread? I can't tell. Anyway, I'll fix that. But I'm stitching it with the called for 103 silks. So now that's all that I stitched on in May. So I do plan to, I want to do not a whip parade, but a finish parade. All the things that I have that are finished that are not FFOs, I have so many things. It's just ridiculous. So I will plan on doing that sometime in the month of June. And I know people will call it the box of shame. I don't look at it that way. I look at it as, you know, a parade of accomplishments, because even if they're not completely finished, you know, they are done, the stitching is done. And so, while I really would love to have them all FFO'd, um, and I will try to work toward that, um, you know, I don't consider it shameful that they're not FFO'd, because it, you know, a lot of work went into just getting them stitched. So I want to do that. Um, and I do have a plan. I spent a good bit of time today, sort of planning out, um, doing a little bit more planning than I usually do every month, not just for stitching and crafting, but for overall life stuff. Um, but I do want to try to, I have a goal of, um, trying to FFO 2 pieces every month at least. You know, and so much of it is just like little smalls that won't take long, but it's just, you know, if you've not FFO'd anything, if you know, send your stuff off to be finished, it can be very time intensive and just trying to decide what you're going to do, and then actually executing it, you know, to get it done. So I think 2 is a reasonable amount to get FFO'd every month. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. So I think that's all I've got for you guys. Nothing really going on life wise, other than work. And yeah, I've been doing some moving still. I've gotten my craft room closer to being put together. Um, I've gotten all of my stuff. So now that I've actually gotten all of my items here, I feel like I can, you know, now go into getting the plan of getting everything put in place. I changed some things around this last week, um, and I'm liking the way it's coming together. Now, does that mean I don't need to purge? No, I definitely need to purge a lot of stuff out, but you know, I'm just glad that I have everything here and I can start getting stuff settled. I had one huge plastic tub that had a bunch of just miscellaneous stuff in, and I've got just a tad of that left to take care of this week. And so that will finally be emptied and out of here. I got my design wall put up. I got another bookcase my daughter and son-in-law brought to me, so I was able to unpack some more boxes. Um, yeah, so it's coming together, but you know, I still have a long way to go with getting moved. Um, so that's the plan for this week and this month, and I think that's really really all now. I hope so. Um, okay. I hope you guys get a lot of stitching in over the next month. And I will, like I said, hopefully put up that parade of accomplishments sometime the month of June. And I hope to get a lot of things finished this month, stitching. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.